Great Nigerians, wonderful viewers and fans of living television. Good day. We're back again today on your favorite program, Issues of the Moment. Today's Issues of the Moment, we'll be looking at the National Assembly election petition sacking two persons, that is on the Federal House of Representatives in United States. Abuja, Shun, Wike. These are many more we'll be looking at today. And as usual, I have my wonderful analyst in the house while we are waiting for the other one. And then we will continue with the one in the house. And that is in the person of Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi. Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi is a historian. He's also a political affairs analyst. He's a public affairs analyst as well. He's a man who loves dealing with numbers and dates. Comrade, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Good day, viewers.
All right, the National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal, sitting in Umuahia, Abia State, has on Monday sacked the member representing Aruchukwu Federal Constituency, Ibe Okpara of Labour Party, and declared Dan Okeke of APC as the winner of the poll, and ordered INEC to withdraw the certificate of return issued to Ibe Okpara and give a fresh one to Dan Okeke. Similarly, another National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Umuahia sacked the lawmaker representing Aba North and Aba South Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, that's Emeka Nnamani of the Labour Party. The three-man tribunal declared Alex Ikweche of Abga as the winner of that election. Let's start with this, comrade.
Yeah.
These people had been sworn in, and today, well, let's start with that of Aruchukwu, and they have been sacked. Well, what do you think that means to the people? Well, these people sacked, they are all of the Labour Party.
Yes, it means that there must be something wrong with the camp of Labour Party. Maybe they have to do with some area, maybe which may precede the election, or which actually happened. I think after the election, then they began to file the petition. Many things or many reasons have been adduced as to why the judgment took this dramatic turn, reversing virtually everything the property. Don't forget that the one of Ibuka, Onye Georgia, where a Labour Party candidate was also won, was actually reversed in Umumu.
That's Oga.
Yes, where Oga, the younger brother, actually reversed, and Ibuka Onye Georgia had been also declared winner by the court, and the INEC ordered to issue certificate of return to her as duly elected. It shows one thing, but I'm not here to comment on some of these things because I'm not either a Labour Party member or any of the parties who declared winners. I'm neither of them. But I will say this, you see, with respect to the issue of membership register, we all know that the election tribunal we are talking about here is the High Court. And I think the matter ends at the appeal court, and they have a specific number of days to appeal the judgment. Yes, it is not the final court of jurisdiction that has already decided. They will also, I'm expecting, because it is in fact, every politician is want to do that. When the court said you are no longer the winner, some other person who actually contested or who went to the polls with you should be declared the winner. You see them approach a higher court or a court of higher jurisdiction to seek redress, and that is legitimate protest. Peter Obi says he's going to Supreme Court, Atiku is going to Supreme Court. We've seen this happen before, you understand? And we've seen instances where a higher court in the judicial hierarchy will now reverse what the other lower court has ruled. But for now, it stands to be respected. It is law, except when the parties, affected parties, approach the higher court now seeking redress. And then the one of Nnamani, I heard many things. I'm not speaking.
Before we come to that of Nnamani, yes. I really want to know. Well, I just want to ask.
Yes.
Why APC? It's like during this election period, most of the persons who are who contested in Labour Party we are not members of Labour Party Activision.
Exactly.
Most of them, they are party rejected
some
or
of them,
giving them
some of them even participated in primaries and in other political parties.
Yes.
As alleged. Some of them participated in and that is also electoral misconduct. You should participate in primary here, and then you join another party. And it should also be a warning to politicians, especially those of them who are in the habit of jumping or cross-carpeting from one party to the other. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not just enough to say the Obi wave. We also the Obi wave, but who were carried along with this wave? Who joined the trend? And that is what we should be talking about. So I think there are other areas we'll be talking about subsequently, especially when we come to the case of American Demand and then other areas. But then the issue of
considering the verdict of the presidential election petition court.
Yes.
If you look at the verdict, almost all the petitions filed by Obi and PDP, almost all of them were struck out.
Yes.
In the basis, like when they talked about, malpractices and violence, the court said they could not substantiate any of this.
Yeah. And
they started now, even when it was glaring, the EU report and so on.
Yes. Yes, I think Council here the other day did justice to evidence. Evidence does not rely on what you are generating from the internet, except when it is truly certified. But evidence must be something you witnessed, and you must tender it, and it must be concrete. That's acceptable. But we must also understand something. If the presidential election petition court said the evidences were not hard enough to nail or to make Peter Obi or Atiku in their case or their argument, we should also remember that I'm not here to say that the court has erred or that the court erred in its judgment, but I'm here to say that nobody, including those who have been analyzing, except the lawyers who were there, nobody saw these evidences. Because during evidence tendering, it was a secret affair. When Nigerians demanded that the session be broadcast live, be televised for people to see, the court also said no, that it will put their lordships in harm's way, and that it will also, to an extent, obstruct the delivery and dispensation of justice. For which reason they said no. Now it was a surprise to me that the same court now said, no, we are going to televise the session, when nobody, not you, not myself, read or saw the cases or saw the evidences tendered. Because that would have been the better time or better opportunity for us to know their prayers and their petitions and their supplications and their arguments, counter arguments, and the evidences tendered. That was the period we had to say, okay, this is what they are saying. But no, we heard some of the prayers and then counter arguments. That at the point that INEC was saying, mind you, it was INEC that prayed that Beaver's machine is not captured in the Electoral Act. So it was one of their prayers. After wasting over 170 billion naira of taxpayers' money, you understand? Other political parties and other parties, the defendants, you understand? And then INEC and the rest of them, they said Beavers was not actually captured. That having promised Nigerians, they will transmit results in real time for them to access using the Beavers. So we wasted taxpayers hundreds of billion naira to carry out these technological innovations, Beavers, IREF, and then the portals they created. For the first time in history, people were able to register from the comfort of their houses or their homes. Just stay in your house and go to INEC portal, and then you begin to register. Then you go for what other biological or other manual processes involved, like capturing, thumb printing, and the rest of them. You understand? But in the comfort of your home, you actually log in and begin to do what? To register. The same thing happened. I think it was the same way for political parties. Most political parties also submitted names of their candidates who have passed primaries through the portal. Candidates also uploaded their information to INEC portal too. So all these technological innovations were they actually captured in the Electoral Act? No, but INEC followed them because they were part of the guidelines. So, and I did say here the other day that the Electoral Act empowers INEC to make laws for the purpose of what? Election management and conduct. So if the Electoral Act empowers you to make law, it means that there are laws, the constitution that may not be sufficient or that may not be contemplated in the constitution or in the or in another exact laws. You don't expect the constitution to start telling you this is how you are going to treat a pregnant woman on the day of election, or you expect the constitution to tell you that this is how you are going to file if you are physically challenged or yes, or if you are with a disability. Those things are to be found in the guidelines. But unfortunately, INEC issued the guidelines and promised Nigerians it will go with the guidelines, and then went against the guidelines, and the court ruled using letter and spirit of law to say this is not embodied in the Electoral Act. All right. Since you cannot put the guidelines over and above the Electoral Act, maybe the court is right until the Supreme Court now provides another interpretation to that matter.
All right. Looking at the judgment of the lower court, the Presidential Electoral Election Petition Court, looking at that judgment, and also I know sometimes we discussed here in this platform, talking about how much the EU invested in this election to ensure that these beavers and this machine.
Yes.
And in one of our discussions here, we also put online one of the INEC officials who assured us that this is a game changer, and it's not going to be business as usual.
Yeah.
And then for this the petition court, tribunal court, on this presidential tribunal to say that there is nothing, there is no law that says it must be electronically transferred. Then what happens to this amount of money spent on these things?
You see, I think
don't you think Mahmoud has something to a question?
Yeah, he has a question to answer. If we are, you see, it's my personal opinion that if we are also talking about Godwin Emefiele, for all the anomalies, for all his however you put it now, even the fact his overreaching tendencies, we also should be talking about someone like Mahmoud. Yes. And a very objective person. You see, yes, under the Emefiele, under the Emefiele regime in the Apex Bank, the CBN borrowed money using our foreign reserves as collateral. They collateralized our foreign reserves from JP Morgan, 7.5 billion US dollars, then from Goldman Sachs, 500 million US dollars. And then nobody, in fact, they could not make any financial disclosure in terms of releasing financial reports, which the CBN Act of 2007 empowered them to transmit to the President and then to the National Assembly. Neither did the National Assembly demand for this. For the period of 8 years, Emefiele was there, and that is criminal. You should ask me, it's my personal opinion. Now, somebody like Mahmoud Yaku tried to ride on the crest of transparency and told Nigerians that the election will be different from others before it. And that was to back a watershed in the history of our electioneering. That's 100 years after election in 1923 to 2023. Now, he also got partners, stakeholders, parties and collaborators like UN, EU, ECOWAS, AU and other observer missions, even high commissions of countries like United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, and then embassies of America, China, and even Russia, many of them. He told them that the election will be transmitted electronically. And I think there is something about this transmission too, either in section 47 or section 46 of the Electoral Act, that talks about what transmission of results too. So it is what it is. The court has ruled. And now, for the purpose of this, INEC told the federal government they will be going technologically more motivated way. You understand? As far as the 2023 elections were concerned, and an unprecedented amount of 350 something billion was released for the commission to conduct this election. Out of that money, they invested or they channeled over 170 billion alone to technology to say we are going to make sure that there is digital security, that our servers, our servers and our websites are not attacked or you've been hacked, to create a hack-proof system. You understand? Internet surveillance. They wasted money in creating portals like I have named them for registration of candidates and parties, and then also for screening of candidates and parties, and then also for registration of intending voters. All these monies, you understand? The judgment has now said the technological innovation made, to me, my own understanding is that it made no sense that the discretion lies with the commission, because it is embodied somewhere in the constitution to determine how they will transmit results, whether electronically or manually, where you see agents, officials of the commission carrying ballot papers and other materials, sensitive materials, from one point to the other. In fact, like from Aba to Omwai to submit to the then it is what it is. It's unfortunate.
All right. Similarly, another National Assembly election petition tribunal sitting in Omaya sacked the lawmaker representing Aba North and Aba South constituency in the House of Representatives, Rebecca Namani of the Labour Party.
Yeah.
And the three-man tribunal judges declared Alex Ikweche of Abga as the winner of that election.
Yes.
Before we talk on this or analyze it, remember last time also, about 4-8 years ago, this same Namani won election in the House of Assembly,
yes.
Abia State House of Assembly,
yeah.
and then was removed. Blessed Maba had to take it away.
Exactly.
Yeah. Going to court with claiming that it was a forged certificate.
Yes.
And that same thing has repeated itself this time. Are we saying that within that number of years he was not able to put his papers in order? What?
My understanding of that case is a bit different. Yes, because I tried to make some inquiries, I tried to ask some questions, because we are talking about area. I think it is area represented. We are now under that very constituency. There is something actually about that very judgment. Politicians, there is something about elections. When you are standing elections, or when you are campaigning, canvassing votes from the electorate, the other party or the other candidate or the other contestant or your challenger is also looking at your background. It's very important. You understand? If you say you are A, you must be A. It's not when you say you are white and then they go to court. You see that this thing has happened before, not only in Niger State. The peculiarity is not to be relatively seen in Niger State. It happened in Bayelsa State. You understand? And we saw how Governor Doyodiri emerged, because the person who actually won, his deputy, had issues with their certificate, you understand? Now, in the case of Namani, I think the case of, in the matter of the 2015 issue, they said he tendered credentials that showed that he had a university degree, but upon verification, and then, you are also competing. People who are also competing with you, they also know you, they dig. You understand? They dig in, they try to carry out investigation and then in order to know whether you actually went through the university you are claiming to have actually passed through, or the primary school you said you've passed through, or you have the qualification you said you have. Remember that in 1999, upon return to democracy, one of the first challenges, tumultuous challenges that confronted the National Assembly was the issue of certificates. The issue of the first speaker. If you remember, the first speaker of the House of Reps, you know what I'm saying now, he was also sacked. The first speaker of the House of Reps, the first Fourth Republic speaker was sacked because of what he claimed to have attended university somewhere abroad, and then it was not verified. Then somebody like Evan Emerem, we are now having these with the letter S, either Evan Emerem or Evan Emerem. So it tells you that if your record must be there. If you, for example, you did A level or O level and you are submitting with INEC, there is a middle name you are not having, and you didn't put that middle name. It's common sense requires you go to court to have an affidavit. Before you submit with INEC, you back it up with an affidavit. Say, I am so and so person. This is to confirm that I'm the person who is submitting this. At the time I did my A level or O level, I have not fully adopted this name. Human beings can change them. So these are the things they should actually look at. But some of the times you see that they fail to correct these things, and then it becomes a problem in the court of law. So the case of Namani, lesson was actually able to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he never held such qualification. That's why they with them. There are many things to be talked about regarding this issue, including the issue of not officially resigning from Labour Party. I think it is a man that will actually answer to all those ones. But what I want to say is that even for now, it has not yet ended. So if it were to be for party issue, where we have issue now is this, that appeal court is likely to be the final court of the decision in this, in this matter. And the appeal court now has a standing rule it has established. Unless it is now subject to what Supreme Court reverse or Supreme Court annulments, or you understand? They have established that somebody who belongs to another party. Now listen, they have established that somebody who should not bring pre-election matter, or that they may have to do with primaries of that political party, except where you belong to that party or you participated in the same primaries. So I think it was also the basis on which the judgment was actually awarded to Tinubu and
they said they don't even have jurisdiction.
Because it's a pre-election matter. So we are going to see what will actually happen in this matter. Because itself now.
I can't imagine this is the second time, and there's the allegation is pointing towards that same direction.
Yes, towards the same thing.
The same thing. So, well, I don't say, like you rightly said, it's not over yet.
It's not over yet. It's not yet to do.
Because that of Blessing, whereby he never appealed it. So maybe, who knows. All right, we are going to go on a very short break this time, and then when we come back, issues of the moment will continue. Don't go away. Keep watching your darling station, The Living TV. We'll be back shortly. Our wonderful viewers, I'm happy you're still there watching your darling station. Remember, I still your favorite program, Issues of the Moment. And as it stands, the last but not the least today, we are looking at the Abuja Indigenes, Shun, Wike. Abuja natives are going to file a motion on notice seeking the order of court restraining Wike from parading himself as Minister of FCT, pending the hearing and determination of the suit. A judicial pronouncement to the effect that the FCT has same status as any of the 36 states means indigenous people of Abuja should enjoy all benefits desirable from a state, just as other Nigerians. Those that desecrated the Constitution have opened up Pandora's box. Abuja must be given mayoral status. Consequently, they would have a governor, 3 senators, local governments, House of Representative members, and House of Assembly members. The Constitution must be amended. Lagos was once a federal capital territory and a state too. Comrade, looking at this, you know, Wike is the appointed minister FCT. Yeah. And now the people are not happy. I wouldn't say if it is because of the high-handedness or whatever, I don't know. But right now, they are resorting to going to court to sort it out. And do they even have right? I want us to start from there to query whether he is the minister or not, because he was duly appointed by the president.
Yes. You see why, in most cases, the judiciary must be careful not to lower the bar. an interpretation would open up another area that will be subject to interpretation again. In which case, if you interpret differently, you may have altered or void the initial interpretation. I remember vividly the history of Lagos. It got to a point in the 1950s. In fact, when they wanted to have the Ibadan conference, or the Constitutional Conference in Ibadan in 1950-1951, prior to McPherson Constitution of 1951, one of the arguments or cases the Yoruba Sage chief, the Yoruba chief Obafemi Awolowo advanced was that Lagos should not be administered separately as a federal capital territory. That Lagos belonged to the Yoruba, and that Lagos should not be given a different status. It was when Zik said Lagos. In fact, that was when some people saw. In fact, the constituent, because we're talking about the constituent, because if you are to make a constitution, there must be constitutional assembly. So the constituents from every part of the country will come. The constituent from the southeast, then eastern region, among whom was Jajawatu, said Lagos was no man's land. To mean that Lagos is a neutral place where every Nigerian has right to settle. You understand? It should not be seen as belonging exclusively to one tribe or region. That was when that issue came up, although Jaja had said that before, I think in 1947. But it was hotly debated that matter nearly tore apart. It nearly ruined the unity of this country. That's apart. I'm talking about the 1950s. Now, I am aware that during military rule, during the Second Republic too, Lagos had military administrators, including people like Ndubisitan, Ebutuki, and the rest of them. Meaning that Lagos enjoyed the status of other states, even as a federal capital. It enjoyed the status of other states. Now, bring it down to 1990, we now had Abuja. Then we went to democracy in 1999. Abuja was now administered separately. In fact, from practice, I may not say law, because there are a lot of contradictions here and there. Abuja was consecrated. I'm using the word consecrated. The federal government incorporated Abuja from practice as a particular area belonging to the federation. And when the constitution, if you look at the 1999 constitution now, say chapter 1, part 1, section 3, subsection 1, it says that Nigeria shall be a federation of 36 states. It mentioned alphabetically the states. Our state, Abia was number 1, followed by other states, Adamawa, Wike, alphabetically, come down to the ZA, which is Zamfara. Then it also mentioned that Nigeria shall have 774 local government councils. In the schedule, it's captured alphabetically. The reason why you have the schedule is to make elaborate or to make clear the provisions of the constitution. In the schedule, it captured who these local governments are, the entities they are, alphabetically too. Then, I think in second schedule, now it talks about Abuja. Abuja was created. It created Abuja as the federal capital territory, not as a state.
Not as a state, yeah.
But then I said that we went to court to hear the matter. The court now ruled that Abuja and the state are co-equal units. But when we talk about federating units, Abuja is not mentioned as a federating unit. So now that the court has said that Abuja and the state are co-equal units, it means that whatever status, whatever privilege the other states enjoy, Abuja may enjoy. Maybe I may not be the best person to describe it this way, but this is also it could be the subliminal message. And why am I saying this? Abuja had never been a state before, but you are now using a judgment to confer a status of state. I'm aware that section 42 of the Nigerian constitution is clear that no Nigerian shall be discriminated against based upon their religion, their place of residence, their ethnicity, their state, and whatever affiliation, howsoever. You understand? That no Nigerian shall be discriminated, which is to say that every Nigerian anywhere has equal rights to do what? To vote and to be voted for. You understand? That's fine. But now you are trying to confer the status of a state. It means you are trying to create Abuja from what we understand it to be. You understand? Because The National Assembly, now listen, the National Assembly makes law that govern Abuja. National Assembly makes laws that govern Abuja. Understand? The president is almost like he's president over Abuja, with the FCT minister being a now see the designation minister,
not the governor.
Not a governor. Now Abuja itself, if you say it is a state, Abuja doesn't have an independent judicial organ different from the National Assembly. It is the National Assembly that makes law for the FCT.
And there are no local governments.
Yeah, and there are no local governments in Abuja, mind you. And then Abuja, like other states, because I think subsection 1 or so of that very section 3 says that in every state to be created, that there shall be a capital city which shall be written in opposite to the state in the schedule. If you see the schedule, if you write Abia, capital is where? Umuahia is the capital city too. Abuja doesn't have a capital city. And given my limitation in this matter, because it is a legal matter, I'm not here to, I'm not Olani Pegun or Opita Banel or sorry or Opita or any of the justices, whether let or alive. I am not one of them. But what I'm trying to say that this could open up grey areas because the people are now beginning to say, since, and if you look at it, other states have their sons as their governors. It is now Abuja. Since you say, if you mean by document, I'm not trying to say that document means whatever it is subject to intervention of the Supreme Court. I'm saying, if you are trying to say that Abuja is now a state, it means that they should be.
Or it's like
it's likened to a state. It means they should every other thing other states are enjoying, we should enjoy, including having commissioners, including having ministries, including having an independent government. Yes, that is the meaning. So until the Supreme Court rules, it's not yet over.
Okay.
But let me not even assume that Abuja is a state. Let me not even assume that Abuja is not a state. But I'm just trying to run this analysis that this is what it could be.
Well,
yes.
the Indigenes said the constitution must be amended to accommodate
them.
By virtue of the verdict of this presidential election court, tribunal court.
Yeah.
Now, if the Supreme Court upholds that ruling, that automatically means that FCT is going to become a state. You should uphold that.
That is why I say I will not preempt the courts. They are the ones to decide. But mine is just to do an analysis. You see, and that is why I said there are a lot of contradictions. And when if you remember very well, I think I welcome this. Let's have this conversation. And I've mentioned here the issue of Awolowo in the 1950s. You understand? Now, nobody wants to be left alone. Mind you, the people we call Abuja, they've been pushed away, like Americans with the Cherokee movement of the 19th century. That is what they call Cherokee removal in America. You remove the aborigines, you displace them, you send them away. The people who own Abuja, where are they? You know what I'm saying now? You understand? So, if they have any right to enforce, which is inalienable, it is in their place to say, we are hearing this judgment is saying that we are a state. We want to be according to the status of a state within the federation, and that is why we must be very, very careful how we interpret.
Don't you think the agitation would have been giving them an indigene instead of asking for a state and also rejecting Wike?
For example, we've been having the Gadonasco, Jeremiah Oseni, many of them, all the former FCT ministers. I hardly have seen one of them from Abuja. I begin to ask, this famine lot, we know them very well. These people who used to be here heated, do they not have people who are qualified to man the society? Now, it could be possible that ministerial slots. Now, listen, you see, the constitution also says that every state should be represented in the sharing or the apportioning or whatever, awarding of national offices, including the ministerial positions. The constitution is clear that appointments shall be made in such a way that will reflect the true federal character of the Nigerian state, which means every state must be represented at the cabinet level. You see that in most cases, our Abuja has never been represented at the cabinet level.
It's not.
Are you seeing the logic now?
Yes.
Abuja has never been represented. I would have wished we had our council here to do justice to this matter. Abuja had never been represented at the cabinet level. I don't know any person who is a minister who is coming from Abuja, the native. I'm not talking about Abuja as you named it. Where I'm talking about Abaji, this committee. I don't know anybody who has been minister in the cabinet. So you are saying you are. So it is something that we must actually look into, because each time they are appointing ministers, they will appoint even the ministers for FCT, they will appoint from outside Abuja too, and the people will be happy all this while. Now this judgment, what has it changed, or what is it capable of changing, or has it even begun changing anything at all? And that is what we must wait.
All right, we've got to something, and the agitation of the indigenes of Abuja, the natives of Abuja, so to say, concerning Wike, and also making FCT a state. Do you think the federal government will have anything to do to this?
The federal government will have nothing to do with this. What the federal government can do is, if this matter goes to the courts, and then there is a kind of what that is. You see, creation of states is not easy, and that is where we have problem now. To create a state, you must have plebiscitatory arrangements across the 36 states, and you must have 2/3 of them saying create that state. And that's why I say I have problem when they talk about the 2014 confab. There were IIL stations, they agreed to create one more state for the southeast to bring about federal balancing. But somebody like Bill Jonathan, I do not know, I can't tell what actually happened. He was actually, I don't know. In fact, I remember he told us that when re-elected in 2015, he will implement the proposals and all of the things he said. What was required was just to transmit to the National Assembly. The people, for the first time in our history, have come together under a democracy. You see, I will tell you this: in 1959, when we had our constitution, in 1960 constitution, it was not totally autonomous. It was not totally independent. The white man had a hand in that document, 1960 document. 1963 was just continuation of 1960 document, but with insertion of what provision of republic status that was actually according to the Nigerian state, the republican status. We now became a republic. In 1979, the constitution we had was also drafted by the people, but supervised by the military. By 1989, Babangida had a constitution that introduced two-party system, military government. By 1995, Abuja had the constitution that was never implemented, a draft military constitution. In 1999, we had a constitution that was supervised by the military. In fact, there was no constitutional assembly, because I said the constitutional assembly said, come, constitute your members. We want to hear Christians, we want to hear Muslims, we want to hear cultural groups, we want to hear Ohanese, we want to hear Afenifere, we want to hear Arewa. Bring everybody together. Let us dialogue. That thing that dialogue is the draft of the constitution. From the constitutional assembly, the draft you present, it becomes a law, a concrete, a composite law, autonomous law of the people. It never happened. The first time we nearly achieved that was in 2014, when people came from all walks of life, including the sick Dora Akunyele, who was going through, I think, chemotherapy or something. Yeah. She came back. Oh my goodness. She came back to participate in that exercise. You see patriotism. Nigerians came together. Arewa, everybody agreed that for federal balancing, South East should be given one more state. Now, then the people in the Niger Delta, the sharing formula was actually being revisited, reviewed upwards to bring about inclusion, to bring about federal balancing, to end some agitations we are seeing in the country. What was required was to transmit to National Assembly for them to now do what? Incorporate it or make it a law. The president was actually telling us that the time they concluded, there was no longer time for him to transmit to National Assembly. It didn't happen that we have people's constitution, and that is why some of these issues are now beginning to come up, because the document we have as a constitution is flawed. Someone called it a compilation of mistakes. So I think this constitution is this dialogue is coming up now. And I've asked the question: Anytime the federal cabinet sits, there must be a minister from Abuja State, that one from them. Have we ever thought who is the minister from Abuja, from this particular locality? If you are saying it is a co-equal unit with other 36 states, and the constitution enumerated these states, 36 states, and the federal capital territory, not even in the same section. You see. So to me, they are lawyers anyway, and they know better. They are the ones to tell us.
All right, I think we are going to revisit this when we have a lawyer in the house, so that look into it. But for now, brothers and natives of Abuja who are going to court, we wish them well. Whoever that eats what he deserves should not be called a glutton because of this judgment. But I'm sure if the apex court, the Supreme Court, looks into it and turns down this, I'm sure they will relax themselves. They will relax themselves. Having said that, this is the much we are going to take today, and I'm happy and glad that you're still there watching your darling station, the Living TV. But before we go, comrade, let's have your final take on this.
Okay, thank you so much. I think without wasting much time or words, I would say this it's not yet over. It's not yet ruled until it is over. Those who have been sacked by the court, they have 90 days. If they waste that 90 days without going or getting injunction or stay of execution from the higher court, then filing their case, they may have to concede. You understand? That's it. But to the extent they want to appeal the judgment, it is within their rights. It is legitimate protest. Peter Obi is doing it. Atiku is doing it. Everybody is doing it. But again, also people should be careful when they want to run for this election, these offices. I am someone. I know where I went to university, and I was telling someone, say, if I want to run for any office now, I will only stop at first degree. You don't need to talk about other degrees or anything, because the way they have, I'm sorry to say it, but the way the judiciary has lowered the bar. You see, during the last ministerial screening, something happened. A nominee, a would-be minister, did not clear his Wike. He had F, I think 5, and passed. I think he passed or granted only 3 pass. He was asked, why did you present this kind of result? He said there was no law mandating him to clear his papers. Why was he getting it from? He got it from the judgment of the former President Muhammad Buhari, where the prayers of his team, of his council, was that the law did not say you must pass Wike or but you must have experience.
Sorry, so, you know, I've been a party chairman in this state, and then we had one, and then it was just a Wike attempt, and he represented. I wouldn't want to mention names. And he flunked his papers. He served out. He flunked his papers. Yeah. He failed. Yeah? He failed his papers. He failed. He had failed 9, 8, and 1 pass. Imagine. It's quite unfortunate. Now you expect such a person to go and be a minister. Now see, in a ministry where you have PhDs, in a ministry where you have people with masters who have traveled wide and undergone various trainings. In the same ministry where it is required for somebody 0 level, salary grade 0, grade 4 level, salary grade 4 level, you are expected to have your Wike. You are expected to have at least your yes, to even be a clerical official. For that is the constitution, except they've amended it. He said Wike attempt. Yes, then it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. So for such exalted then this issue of Abuja. Our Abuja remains a federal capital territory for now until there is need for that to be said. Even if the Supreme Court says that, it will still go through a process. And I do not know that the Supreme Court has powers to say our Abuja has become a state. You see the challenge now to say Abuja has become a state without it going through. It's not something that we announced. Yeah, it doesn't take a day. So I wish we have hitch-free litigations, and then we are able to conclude some of these matters even before someone is sworn in. It is very, very crucial. Thank you. All right. Thank you, our wonderful viewers. Thank you for being there. Thank you for watching. I'm sure you've learned something. It is also important to know what is happening all over the world, that the Indigenes of Abuja are now asking that Abuja should become a state. They should have their own state house of assemblies, local government areas, three senatorial capital city, members of House of Reps, and so on. So it's important that agitation is on now, and they are marching straight to the court to iron it out. Let's see how it goes on. We'll always keep you posted from this place. And having said that, from my immediate left is Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi. Comrade, we are happy to have you today.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. Thank you and goodbye, viewers.
And your anchor man, Chinedum Adiele. Remember, Nigeria is our country, Abia is our state. We aren't going to run away from it. Let's just do the best we can to keep them moving. Bye for now. Keep watching Living TV.